Let's open Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter.org.try. Are you able to see? Or you can come here. Is everyone part of the group? You are also part of the group, right? Okay. So let's open the Jupyter Notebook. So, did you check the recording? Right. So, whilst we are yesterday we were talking about strings, right? How strings is going to work. So let's create a string element. Let's say A equal to Bangalore. Okay. And as per the string concept, we know that there are four types of manipulation. You can manipulate the string in four ways, right? The first concept is indexing, where we can find out the index using the index of the string. We can fetch the character, right? Indexing always starts from 0 from left to right and starts from -1 from right to left. Okay, from left to right it starts with 0, from right to left it starts with -1. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So A of -1 and A of 8 both will give you the same result, right? A of 0 and A of -9 will give you the same result. Clear? So indexing always starts from 0 from left to right and -1 from right to left. Then the next concept was slicing, right? Where you pass the range and what happens? Start from 0, go till 6. 7 is not included. It will go till 6. The last point, right? Starting index, ending index is excluded. So it goes one before that, right? if I keep this as empty, start from beginning, go till 6. Now start from 2, go till last end, right? Start from -6, go till -2. -6 to -2 means GALOR, right? See, whenever you are reading, right, reading will always be by default from right to left, sorry, left to right, right? Which means if I give this, will this work? Will this work? -1 to -1, that means it is trying to read in the right to left order. By default, it is left to right, right? If you want to make it right to left, then put one more -1. So what this third represent? This represents the steps, right? If you're not passing -1, then it is always +1. So it is taking a step of +1, right? +1 means left to right. Now what I'm telling, don't take a step of +1. Instead, take a step of -1. That means go right to left, right? Now starts with 0, go till 7 with the step of 2. So the output will be B N A O. B N A O. 0, then 2, then 4, then 6. Step of 2, right? Clear? Taking a step of 2, right? So this always represent the steps. If it's not there, by default +1. Right? So you can manipulate this by putting minus. If you do minus, then it will go in the reverse order. Which means if I do colon -1, what this will give me? It will give the entire word in reverse. Start from beginning, go till end, but reverse because that is -1, right? So it is reading in the reverse order now. Right? So this is how we can get the reverse of a string. Right? Then there is something called repetition, where you multiply a string with a number and that will repeat. You multiply a number with indexing, then also it will repeat. This feature is not there in other languages. Other language does not support multiplication of integer and string. In Python, it is a repetition. Okay. Then we have concatenation, multiply, use addition with plus operator, right? So these are the 4 ways of manipulating the string object. Okay. Now we have done one small assignment, right? Hello base and then repeating. Let's do that again quickly, and then from there we'll continue with string functions. Okay. Go to file, new notebook, Python 3. Okay, so we have A equal to hello, B equal to decent, and C equal to 3. And what output we are expecting? Something like this. Okay, so you are expecting something like this, which means the first character of the second word is taken out, repeated C number of times, and then we are also taking out ESANT, sorry, ELLO, right? And then concatenation. The first character of the first word is taken out. From second word we are taking out ESANT, concatenation, and then repetition 3 times, C number of times, right? Now, how do we get the first character of the second word? What should we do? B of, right? How can we repeat this? Into C, right? How can we get ELLO? E of 1 colon empty. Let it go towards the end. I can also give 5. But if I give 5, what will happen? This code becomes specific to 5 character word. If there is something which is more than 5 characters, then this will not work, right? So let's keep it empty. Okay. How to get first character of the first word? A of, and similarly B of 1 colon empty. This entire thing should be repeated, right? So Bodmas rule, bracket and then multiplication. But I want space in between, right? So we'll add a space also, right? Now let's put this together. Looks simple, right? In one line, we are able to do lot of things. If I ask you to do the same thing in other languages, it will take minimum 15 to 20 lines, minimum. And the complexity would be, you'll be using too many for loops, right? Too many variables to store the data. So first string we will convert into character array. Then you will loop it and take out the characters. Then for repetition again there will be one more loop. Right? Then for concatenation one more loop. And then you have to convert back to string. Python can do this in single line. Right? Now let's do one thing. Let's not hardcode the value. So let's create our first hello Python program. We'll take the value from the user. So what we need to do? We have to call input function. Input is a method where you pass the message, enter the word, and this message is going to populate on the screen. Whatever you enter, that will be stored into A. By default, input stores string. The type of A will be string object. That means A will become the string object, right? So, and we need string object. A is supposed to be a string object, right? So we need not do anything else here. Okay. Now for this, C, enter the number. Now this number I don't want as a string, right? I want this to be an integer. What can we do here to make it integer? How to add? Int of right? We are creating the integer object. So for integer object, what is the syntax? Object name equal to class name, right? What is the class name here? Everything is an object in Python, right? So object name equal to class name, right? Inside you pass anything that you convert into, because inside it takes the value. Input of the message will give you some value. Output into a list. Then what should we do? Object name equal to class name, right? Everything is a class in Python. So I'm just putting the object name and then specifying the class name, right? Here also, eventually this is going something like this, which we are not declaring because by default it is a input is converting into a string object, but it is going something like this, right? Object name equal to class name. Keep the format same, right? Then it will become easy. So everything is an object in Python, and we are just creating the object of a specific class, right? So input is by default giving us a string object. If you want some other object, then you have to create the object of that class, right? So I wanted list object, I'm creating the object of list class. If I want float object, then I'll create the object of float class. Otherwise, for now, we'll create the object of integer class, right? Confused or clear? Don't get confused with this part. Okay, that's all. Okay, we can do this way also. Let's say C equal to input, and you pass C to this, you get. In the previous example, I was not storing that explicitly. Whatever output I was getting, I was passing into the integer class. Now we are storing it and then passing, right? Storing into C is not required because we are not going to use anywhere else, right? So it's always better to pass it directly. So enter the word, right? Execute. Done. Because your timer is not there. You need to restart. Let's connect it. It is still running. This way it's running. Stop. Clear? Now let's look at the methods of string class. When I do a dot, I get a drop down, and these are the feature of string class. Right? These are the feature of string class. So the first one is capitalize. What does a capitalize do? Capitalize will convert the first character of the string into capital keys. Okay. We also have upper, right? So it is giving me the output, but if I go and check A, right, it is still the same, right? Which means if I try to update a string element, a particular index of a string element to something, it does not allow. It gives us an error. What is the error? String object does not support item assignment. Similarly, if I try to delete, it does not support item deletion, right? It does not support item deletion, which means once you create a string object, we cannot change the string object. What does a change mean? If you are trying to add new characters to the existing string, it's not allowed. If you are trying to delete some characters, that is not allowed. If you're trying to update, even that is not allowed. If you're trying to reverse, not allowed. Right? Now, you might have a question. I think your expression showing you have a question that we are reversing this way, right? But A is not changing. It's not changing A, right? It is just giving you the output, but not going back and changing. If you want to change it, you have to explicitly do this. And by doing this, you're not updating the existing one, you're creating a new object. You're creating the new object with the same name. So the previous object will move to the garbage collection. It will be unreferenced. It will go as a cache memory garbage collection, and then later it will be cleared off. Right? So you can give this name or you can store it to some other name. But string does not support change. Why? Because strings are immutable. Okay. Immutable object does not support change, right? Now, whatever operation we do here will never change the string object. It is just giving us the output. Lower will make everything to lowercase. Okay. We have case fold, which will make everything to lowercase. Now, what is the difference between case fold and lower? Lower supports only English character. Case fold supports both English and non-English character. Non-English means German, French, right? So those characters are also supported by case fold. Okay. We have something called index where you pass the pattern. When I say pattern, pattern can be a character, can be a word, can be a statement. Right? So when I'm passing a pattern, let's say A and G, it gives me the index of the pattern. What is the index of A in Bangalore? So you are getting 1. The index of the first character of the pattern starting from left hand side. Right? We have one more. If I just try to find out the index of A, when that is coming as 1. There are two A, but from left hand side, the starting pattern is hitting at index 1. Right? We can, if you want to check from the right hand side, then there's something called R index. Now, what is the index of this pattern from right hand side? That is coming at index number 4, right? A, right? So, R index will search from the right hand side, index will search from the left hand side, and it gives the index of the first character of the pattern. Pattern can be a character, can be a word, or can be a statement. Okay. We also have something called find. Find also does the same thing. What index is doing. We have rfind. I'm not sure if rfind is there. Yeah, rfind is also there. So we have rfind. Same thing. Find and rfind both are exactly same with one difference. The difference is if I use index and if I provide something which is not there, xyg is not there, right? This gives me exception. If I do the same thing with find, it gives -1. Okay, -1 means it is not present. So find does not give exception, and index gives the exception. That is the only difference. Otherwise, both are same. So just execute from your end all the steps. Okay. There's something called count where you pass the pattern and it will tell you the count of that pattern. Okay, and this is case sensitive. So if I make it capital A, right, it is case sensitive. AN is there, but all small case. So this is case sensitive, right? Then there is something called replace, where you provide the pattern, existing pattern, and what you want to replace with. But replace is not changing the original value because that is immutable. Is that clear? Okay, we'll continue on this next session, but for this week, right, next class will be on Monday. So for a small project for this week, we don't have any assignment. So next week we'll have once we get into forward project, right? And but for now, what you guys can do is you guys can solve this puzzle and tell me about what is the solution for this. I think we have done this. Got that. So let's assume that there is a container which contains some balls, 8 balls, right? And all these balls are look wise, color, shape, everything same. There's one ball which is slightly heavy. Right? How many chances you need? Tell me just the chances and the approach. How many chances you require to find out the defective ball? There are 8 balls. All the balls are similar in shape, size, and color. But this one ball which is slightly heavy. Let's say if all the balls are 10 kg, there is 10.2. We cannot, when just by looking at the ball, you cannot see, right? It is heavy one. So how you, what approach you will be taking by your engagement? I'm trying to do is I'll take one weight machine and I'll take both the balls, two balls at a time, right? One in left side, one in right side. Worst case is like both are equal. There's no difference. Then I take out that one ball and keep another ball. Again, if both are same, I take out that ball and keep another ball. So that way, how many chances I need? Worst case, 7 chances, right? To find out the defective ball. So this is one solution, right? Now try to see how many other ways we might have. Okay. Any other solution you guys have in your mind? Seven times. Anything else where we can reduce the chance? Seven chances is not right. If I replace both the balls because both are same, you can keep two balls again. Is that right? Four chances, right? Okay, you are telling four boards. So let's divide into four boards. One will be heavy, then divide it into two. One will be heavy, divide into one. Three chances, right? Solve this in two chances. This is the set. You have to solve this in two chances. Okay. Right? Now think how to solve. With this problem statement, one thing what is clear is every problem statement has multiple solutions. Some of the solution are time taking, some takes less time. Worst solution and best solution, right? And based on that, we decide the performance of the application and we decide which application we need to use, right? If you are taking 7 seconds to find out the defective pause, seven chances, 7 seconds. Someone else is finding in 2 seconds. So the time which you are taking in the same time, three defective balls are identified. If we write two programs, right? One is taking 2 seconds, the other is taking 7 seconds. So always the approach what you're taking matters a lot when you're creating a application. And that is the difference between Flipkart versus eBay. Both are providing the products, right? But why eBay is not in use and Flipkart is in use? Because of their performance of the application, or because of when you go and search for the product in Flipkart, you get the relevant products. In eBay, you start getting, if you search for mobile, you start getting earphone and smart, all those things, right? That means their logic, their algorithm is not efficient, right? So solve this and then we'll discuss with on one more puzzle, something like this.